Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today, I'm back telling you what I normally tell you, but this time I mean it so much more than I normally mean it, and I normally mean it. Stop! For the love of all that is good in the world, stop buying Prismatic Evolution singles. Seriously, the set comes out at the end of the week. Things are getting... I always say things are getting ridiculous, because generally speaking, things are getting ridiculous. I always show my work in. I always tell you what's going on very honestly. I always show you my proof. I always tell you, stop buying these singles. Look at these ridiculous prices, yeah? But more so than normal. Seriously. Hold on. Stop buying singles of Prismatic Evolutions. Things are getting absolutely ridiculous. And apparently this is a real auction. Somebody spent $18,000. That's a lie. Let's round it up. $19,000 on a special illustration rare Umbreon. And apparently this is legit and has sold, and the buyer has paid, and frankly, I'm not entirely sure I believe it, because this is, and I think I can say this with a fair degree of honesty and certainty, and I don't want to sound rude when I say it, the dumbest Pokemon TCG sale I have seen in all the years I've been doing this. I don't see any world in which the person who bought this gets value unless they grade this, become the first person selling a graded Umbreon, and somehow manage to sell it for more than $19,000. This is absurd. I showed you a video, I think it was actually yesterday, where we looked at the price of the Japanese Umbreon, and we looked at the price of English cards, like, for instance, the Pikachu from Surging Sparks. And we used this to make a prediction of what would be a fair value for this Umbreon. And I told you a fair value for this Umbreon would be somewhere around like $500-600. And again, I showed my working. I wasn't just throwing random numbers out. I showed my working. This is absolutely absurd. And the funny thing is, and I've told you this in previous videos, there is a world in which this card just keeps selling for ridiculous prices and actually does come to this level of value, which is frankly absurd. Now, the good news is we've seen other sales of Umbreon, and they're less ridiculous. The bad news is not by that much. Here's a pre-sale that sold for $1,800, which, again, is 3 times what I think would be a reasonable but honestly a bit too high price for it on release. Like $600, I was telling you, is not really what they should be. When you look at older cards in the past, when you look at the past few years of the Pokemon TCG, $600 is absurd. But looking at things like Pikachu, you could see it happening. Here's another one that sold for $3,500. Again, the good news is these are miles below 19 grand. But the bad news is $3,500 is absolutely patently absurd for any Pokemon card that can be pulled from a pack. Now, you tell me it's a trophy card from an exclusive invite-only tournament like Worlds, and I go, all right. That's fine. That is a ridiculous card. I understand. But a card that can be pulled from a pack? No. Again, let's go back to Umbreon. Umbreon was from Evolving Skies. Evolving Skies was a very difficult set to find. It was a set that just sold out constantly because it was an amazing set. This is by far the best card from that set, the most valuable card from that set, which has been out for years and is increasingly difficult to find, and it's now a $1,500 card. A year ago, it was $540. It took a long time, years, to get to $1,500. And now, all of a sudden, we're expecting that the Umbreon from Prismatic Evolutions is just gonna get multiple times this day one. And again, there is a world in which everyone just buys it for $2 to $3 grand. And if everyone just buys it for $2 to $3 grand, then everyone will sell it for $2 to $3 grand, and the price will be $2 to $3 grand. It's an absurd price, and it should not be that high. But if everyone just buys and sells it for that, that becomes the price, even though it's absurd. Here's the next two as I record that are finishing on eBay, finishing in the next couple of hours. One's at $2,025, one's at $2,400. That's an absurd price. Both of them are absolutely absurd. Both of them are ridiculous. And I don't know why the one that finishes 8 minutes later is somehow bid up more than the one. Like, who's bidding $2,400 on one where you could bid $2,100 on the other? And I still think $2,100 is a ridiculous amount of money, but I don't understand when there's a cheaper auction, why you're not bidding on the cheaper auction instead. And the thing is, when I say it's a ridiculous amount of money, I'm not just throwing random numbers out here. I'm going, look at the biggest card from the past 5 to 10 years of the Pokemon TCG that could be pulled from a pack. It's Umbreon. After years, it's gone into $1,500. Look at the biggest card from the Scarlet and Violet era. It's the Pikachu from Surging Sparks, which is a $460 card. If the biggest card that can be pulled from a pack right now in Scarlet and Violet is $460, and the biggest card from the previous block, which has been out for a few years at this point, is sitting at $1,500 after a few years, there is no card in a pack that should come anywhere close to $3 grand. Should be anywhere close to $2 grand, frankly. Honestly, $1,000 would be absurd. And yet, Umbreon is way higher. And this, of course, then has the big knock-on effect. Because if the Umbreon is this hyped, everybody wants to pull the Umbreon. I mean, if you think you can pull a $3 grand or more card from a pack, that's going to make you want to buy packs of that set. Which is then going to make Prismatic Evolutions sell out way faster, which is going to push up the price of the packs, which is going to push up the price of all the singles, and round we go. It is going to make the set into a ridiculous situation. And again, Prismatic Evolutions isn't out yet. It's literally not been released. It's not even out till Friday. And we have products being released for Prismatic Evolutions until September. This is a set which is going to be around for at least a year. Why are we spending what I've shown you and proven to be an absurd amount of money before the set's even out? The only people that have this Umbreon are people that got the set early and opened it to sell. The supply of this Umbreon right now is absurd, and the set is amazingly hyped. This is the worst possible time to try and buy singles of this set. So why are we buying singles of this set? Now again, usual disclaimer, I'm not your dad unless you're Daisy, Archie or Ruben, in which case it's kind of weird that you're watching this, but hey. So if you want to go and spend loads of money on cards, get them. If you want to get them early and you don't care about the money, do it. If you want to get the first one graded because you think you'll be able to sell it for more than you paid, go for it. I'm not telling you what to do. I am telling you that right now, especially this Umbreon, is so ridiculously over-the-top expensive that buying it right now is just throwing, well, at this point, I think literally thousands of dollars away. It's absolutely absurd. Also, and I know I'm shouting into the wind here, but just a little bit of a plea from sellers on places like eBay. Can you stop putting Umbreon in your listing for products? Because actually trying to search on eBay for the Umbreon is really annoying, because you search for Prismatic Evolutions Umbreon and every single sealed product comes up, because everyone's putting Umbreon as a keyword in their listing. Brilliant. Cheers for that. It makes it really hard to actually navigate any of these sites. Boo! And the good news is the other cards in the set are not as ridiculously dumb as Umbreon. The bad news is, yeah, they're not good. Here's a Sylveon listing with 5.5 days left, which for some reason is already at $455. It's not even the biggest special illustration rare in the set. It's going to end up more than Pikachu, and it's not even the biggest card in the set. And this isn't even going to end until Prismatic Evolutions is already out. and the supply jumps up massively. So I'm really interested about this one because in 4 days, the set comes out, the market gets flooded with singles, and I rather suspect that by the time this listing finishes, it's already going to be ridiculous. So I'm interested to see if this one actually finishes. There's another Sylveon, which is currently sitting at $134 with 6.5 days left on it. Which, again, the Sylveon's not that good a card. Like, Sylveon generally is nowhere near the level of Umbreon when you look at these cards. And it's not particularly playable. So the idea that this should be anywhere close to the Pikachu, which is by far the biggest card in Surging Sparks, is frankly absolutely ridiculous. And I do feel like we're going to be getting a lot of this happening when the set actually comes out. You know, somebody spent $10 on a Max Rod. And I know it's only $10, but this is a borderline unplayable ace spec. I've not seen this popping up in like any Japanese decks. $10 for an unplayable ace spec? No! It's going to be like a $1 card. $10 for Snorlax EX? This is a bulk EX at this point. Nobody wants this card. This is not a good card. And it's not going to be a rare card. This, again, is going to be like a $1 or $2 card. And again, I know it's only $10, but $10 for bulk EXs and ace spec cards? That's where we are with Prismatic Evolutions right now. It's ridiculous. And I could keep going. I could keep going for out. I'm not going to. I could keep going. I'll give you one more example because this one's dumb. $25 for a regular Espeon EX. $25 for a regular Espeon EX. Latias from Surging Sparks is genuinely playable, like really playable, and it's $2 on TCG Player right now. Pheasantipity is one of the very best EXs in the game right now, and it's $12 over on TCG Player because it's like a staple in most decks right now. And we think regular Espeon is going to be double that? No! $25 is absurd. This is going to be, it's borderline playable, but I'm talking borderline. There is a chance. I'm telling you there's a chance. This is a $5 card. People are going ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous with Prismatic Evolutions right now. And my advice, even more than normal, don't buy singles right now. If you really need them for a deck, for EUIC, etc., then yes, obviously go and pick up singles. If you don't care about the price and you know you're paying way over the odds, then cool, go for it. But generally speaking here, I've never seen an English set this ridiculous when it comes to pre-sale prices. Don't fall into it. There is going to be a huge influx of supply literally at the weekend, and prices will start dropping. Please, if you can hold on, please do. This is dumb. There we go. Even more than normal. Stop buying singles. There we go. That's my blurb. That's what you need to know. That's my rant. And now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about all of this. Tell me if you've picked up any singles and you just don't care. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. And get shoutouts on the channel, like the lovely AB3, who's one of our older Patreons and is a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.